everybody. We are live. We are back with Transformational Tuesdays. We are so excited to continue our free Tuesdays where you can join us live, I and Dave, asking us those questions that you are just pondering or can't seem to find somebody that knows the answer to. You can't find it in a book, you can't find it in your knowledge, or you can't seem to channel it on your own. And you just have these impeding questions that just seem to keep coming back around. We're here for you. We're here for you. We want to help you along your transformation. We want to help you find those answers that you're looking for. Tonight, we are going to be talking about transformation, and that transformation is going to be about Dave's transformation. So please welcome Dave onto the screen.
Hi, everyone.
There's Dave. Dave says he doesn't like to be the center of attention, but Spirit was very pushy about Dave being the center today and allowing him to share his story because Dave's story really does help other people heal. The whole reason why we started classes in the first place was to help Dave on his healing journey and to be able to hear Spirit and to know that others are struggling just as he is. And along the way, we have helped thousands of people during this healing journey and helping Dave heal everything that has happened in his life. And so along Dave's journey, we have also incorporated so many other people in that healing, in classes, in our spiritual retreats, in our one-on-ones. Often in healing, I asked Dave to join me because he is such a powerful healer. Not a lot of people are aware of Dave's abilities or Dave's abilities that he hears, knows, sees, does. We keep it a little secret, right, Dave?
True story.
Because Dave doesn't
If he,
like people. Go
it would
ahead.
still be a secret. It would still be a secret right now if it was up to me.
It's up to Dave. He wouldn't want anybody to know about his abilities and what he's capable of. But here's the thing that God has shown us, and we know that is so true, is that until we are able to speak our truth about ourselves and share it with the world, we will never be in alignment with our true life's path or purpose. We need to vocalize our life through all that is and everything that we have been and everything that we are, and incorporate our earth life with all of our experiences and our spiritual side too. So let's say hi to everybody that's joining us. We are so happy that you are here with us. We can't wait to share tonight with you. Please put your where you're from in the comments. Let us know. We love it when you guys let us know where you're from and how you met us. Share stories about how you met us. We really, really, really love it when you're interactive in that chat because we love to answer questions and talk with you and reminisce about the good times that you had with us, funny stories you have about us, good heart feelings, and good memories that you have too. So please share them in the comments. We love to hear them. We love it that you join us and are here with us tonight and ready for Dave to entertain you. Right, Dave? Right, Dave?
Right?
Right, Dave? Dave,
Yeah.
you there, Dave? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There he is.
Can,
There he is,
yeah.
guys. Claremont, Iowa. We're have some people typing in for Claremont, Iowa. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, Dave. So what I want you to do is I want you to take us back to when you were 10 years old, Valentine's Day.
10 years old.
Yeah.
So 10 years old, Valentine's, well, it was a few days prior to Valentine's. I was boarding a plane in Phoenix, Arizona to basically what I was told is I was going to visit my mom with, and she had a friend in northern Arizona. I was living in Phoenix, well, outside of Phoenix, but so I was told that she had a friend, a couple hours away from Phoenix, and we had to get on a plane. And even at that age, I was a pretty smart cookie. I was walking down the tarmac, and I was like, this says Chicago, Illinois. That seems kind of weird. Why does that say that? And they're like, oh, that's tomorrow's flight. They just kept having excuses, and then what? There was one other thing. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, what is that all about? And they had another excuse for it. And so, anyways, we
Who's
got on the
they,
plane.
Dave? Who's they, Dave?
My
Who kidnapped you?
It was my mother and her boyfriend's mother. So like my grandma, on a boyfriend side, if you were to say. So
Right.
anyways, mid-flight, I started to be like, this seems like it's taking a little too long. And then when the pilot got up over the thing, he said, "Thank you for flying with us." Blah blah blah. When they do their spiel, it is now 12 degrees in Chicago, Illinois, and there's 2.5 feet of snow on the ground, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I knew it. And they told me, you're going to live with us now. And I instantly started crying. And like even the stewardesses thought my ears were popping because we were approaching landing. So they were all scurrying like something was wrong. But it was really just because I had just realized that my whole life was about to change, like completely dramatically change, because I knew nothing other than my father at the time. It was me and my dad. I was like his sidekick. Basically, if you really want to put it in layman's terms, I don't think he can survive without me, is how I feel at this time. So yeah, that's what was going on there. And when we landed, there was 2.5 feet of snow on the ground. The pilot was not lying. So that was kind of a shell shock as well. I was like, what is this crap?
Right. And so through your life, Dave, this is something that has always come to you and always been a huge part of your transformation and always your healing path. And I think a lot of
Oh,
people can resonate with this, that there was a lot of turmoil and maybe their parents had a lot of this, combating going on, right? Because he
oh
hunted
God,
you
yeah,
down. Like most of your
yeah.
childhood life, your dad was trying to get you back.
Well, the huge part of the story is after I got over the initial cry, because I realized that my mother needed me because she's bipolar, schizophrenic, and like she needed me too. So like it was almost like a group manipulation to get me to stay. So like, we're gonna call your father and you're gonna tell him that you want to stay with us. And because I did, I loved my mom and I love my father. So like I did want to stay, but I also wanted my father to accept that I wanted to stay because mom needs me. And when I said that to him, he said, "Don't ever talk to me ever again. This is done. You are no longer my son." And I probably cried for a solid month. And even looking back into that energy field, I can still feel it. When you cry so much that your face it just hurts. Like I was sore. Like I constantly cried, could not stop crying. Like I showed up to school and it was Valentine's Day, and they had already wrote Valentine's to David, the whole class. So I was like, it was like I was in some kind of freak movie. Like, how do you guys even know who I am? And how did you know I was coming? They planned this, like they knew they were taking me. And I, and I'm not putting blame on anybody, one side or the other, because my mom did need me. But in honesty, my father needed me too. So like, it was kind of like I was being stretched both ways. But it's kind of sad to think that they needed a 10-year-old. It should be the other way around. I should be needing them. But so like that's a weird way to start your life out for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so, some people are commenting saying they can't see the nose feed. Dave, I'm gonna let you go ahead and figure that out while I kind of talk about that a little bit. If you can go on the
See the
Facebook,
what?
Dave, they're saying that they can't get a hold of the feed and they're not asking if it's happening yet. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and put my face on the screen and you can go ahead and take care of that. And I'm gonna talk to people about this a little bit. As we go through life, it is that we have these traumas in our life and in our past. And as we're children, we find that we have a lot of things that are happening for us and to us, and we only can react to it. And we're just children and we don't know any better. And so we gather these traumas inside of our body, right? And we grow up and we suppress them. We don't deal with them. Some of us become a very victim mentality to what happened to us. Some of us don't ever deal with anything that happened to us when we were a child because we don't remember it. Like, it was so awful that we push it out of our life and make it not a part of our reality. And we were so hurt by something that we don't want to relive the hurt and relive the what happened to us when we were a child. But this is the thing that we want you to understand, and Spirit is so loud about, Dave and everybody else, is that we want you to understand that your story, your childhood story, and your whole life story is so important. It is the most important thing that you come here in this life for. And understand that those things that happened to you, Dave, and everybody else, created the person that you are today. Dave is a very passionate human. He loves and cares for people in ways that I could not even fathom. His heart opens up to people on levels of understanding and empathy and passion, and really desires people to succeed in life. And he is one of the reasons why I succeeded in everything that we are currently doing together within these 5 years that we have been together. We have moved mountains because I have believed in Dave and Dave has believed in me. Dave's healing journey has taken him into sobriety. Dave was actually an alcoholic for many, many years. Dave, why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, I found out later, obviously through meeting you, that a lot of my alcoholism is through my judgments of my own mother, and the things that she was addicted to. I was always judging that, and I was like, why the heck would you do that to yourself? So then, therefore, I had to live it later in life. In my 20s, it started out as just kind of when things were rough, I would get drunk here or there. I wasn't, and I would very much judge the people that were drinking every day. I was like, I don't know how you could be like that. I just do this for fun. And then in my 30s is when I started to do it daily. I had myself fooled that I needed to drink to sleep, which the irony of it is I was not sleeping very well being drunk. So, but that's what I had. And so basically, I was living out the karma of my own judgments. Becoming an alcoholic was my own judgments because I was a bartender for many, many years. And it's not that I didn't love the people I was serving, but like I did judge them as well too. Like the people that were there daily. I was like, how could you be like this? Because there's so much life to live. I was very full of life and always wanting to do something. So therefore I became an alcoholic myself and lost that life in me.
Yeah, and so Spirit does say that when we judge another, that we shall live through that judgment, so that we can know what judgment feels like, and so that we do learn not to judge others. For we are them and they are us. And so Spirit takes us through all the judgments that we have for others so that we can know the unjudgment inside of us and learn not to judge and not to criticize. You know, they say through mind's eye, right? My eye, your eye, we're the same. Through mirror imaging, we are the same human, just on different frequency levels, going through different things at different times. And so, Dave, through the judgments of others, you had to live through the judgment of being an alcoholic. And I and Dave's life really do match up quite nicely because a lot of my life, I judged people too. I judged my ex husband for his alcoholism. I judged my family for their drinking and their use of alcohol, and my friends for their use of alcohol. And I didn't even touch a drop of alcohol until the age of 27, when my ex-husband and I had some turmoil in our relationship, and I turned to alcohol because somebody offered it to me and said it would help me feel better. And that was the train that led into a 7-year train wreck for Debbie. And so we got on that drinking train and we didn't turn back for 7 solid years. And my sobriety came when I decided that I wanted to be the example for my children. I wanted my children to be proud of me and who I was and my choices. And so that really turned me into my sobriety. And for Dave, his sobriety came with him being a mentor and a role model for my children, right, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah. When I met you, and we obviously clicked on a whole nother level to the point of we've spent other lifetimes together for sure. And you said that the day we move in, there will be no more alcohol in your house. And so it was like the night before, it was my last night, which is crazy. And I never looked back. Hi. I never looked back. So, but I, I don't know. It was like a whirlwind because at first it didn't seem so hard because we went through so much stuff in that first couple months that I think I had too many other things to focus on to even worry about the alcohol. And
The alcohol was the easiest thing you were quitting.
right, yeah, yeah. So like between what happened with you with getting COVID and like you were like what one of the 5 first ones to get COVID in Wisconsin. It was crazy. So back there it was like the apocalypse. So we were like batting down the hatches. Like they literally sprayed down my machine at work because I loaded trucks. They sprayed it with disinfectant and had masks on when they heard that you had COVID and I'm leaving and I can't come back. They literally, it was like, it's like some sort of apocalyptic movie. Like, I was like, so like going through that and then like having to, now I got to go out in public. Like I'm the warrior, and go get our food and the meds and everything for everyone. It was like I didn't focus on the alcohol, so in a way it was a little bit of a blessing. But then when things started getting better with all of that craziness, I think then I had a few weeks there where it all of a sudden hit me mentally on an emotional level that now what do I do? Now that I don't have to fight or flight and save everyone, now what do I do? So then I did go through it, but like I'm thankful I didn't go through it initially because I can't imagine how much stronger and harder it would have been.
Yeah, it was a
Because
blessing. So the
when
darkness and the hard times are definitely a blessing. So
yeah,
that
because
you
like
didn't have
when
time
you
to even think about the alcohol.
yeah, when you have so much to focus on that you don't even realize what you're doing, and that's really what was happening.
Yeah, and Dave, I
Yeah,
think we missed a really important part of our story and our transformation together, about how we met. And why don't you go ahead and tell them that?
yeah. Well, we met online, and what happened was I messaged her favorite movie dot dot dot, and there wasn't many people that I messaged because I was always kind of picky. And I probably had like 8 people that I messaged throughout the few months there. And favorite movie dot 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 is what I sent her. I don't know why I did that, but it wasn't much. But I felt a connection. I felt a connection with who she was, which is why I messaged her. But at the time, I think I was in a place where I just had the arrogance. Well, she'll just write back then because I gave her attention, that kind of thing. But that day, there was a day where I was playing darts all day, and I got really drunk, and being the man who cares about everyone around him, all my friends were also really drunk too. So I decided to be the savior and say, "Oh yeah, I'm still fine," and I drove everybody home, and we were like an hour away from homes, and I was going all across country, like hour this way, 40 minutes that way, and I drove everybody home, and I was pretty blasted at first. So by the end of the drive, I was sober, which is kind of sad. And when I walked into my door, it was my dog Rennie, who's a pit bull border collie mix, and my dog Bailey, who was a pit bull lab mix, and then I had this little Chihuahua with at the time too. They all greeted me at the door because Dad was gone all day, and they were so excited to see me. And I just fell to the ground. Like I trembled and my legs got weak. And I realized how sad things had gotten in my life. And the fact that I could have been gone, and how long would it have taken for anybody to realize these 3 were even not taken care of, because I was at that point where I had cut a lot of people off too. I was in such a hatred stage of my life. And so I was on the floor and I was trembling and I was crying, and I was really debating, like, how am I going to end this? Like I really was having that thought, like, how are we going to do this? Because I know that you're kind of a pansy, so you don't want to do anything that's going to hurt. So like, how are we going to do this where it doesn't hurt is how I was thinking. And I'm also
And
going to, how am I going to let
contemplating ending your
suicide?
life. Yeah.
right, yeah, and something said, like, it was like I was almost half passed out on the floor with the dogs, and like it was almost like a voice said, Plenty of Fish, which was the app that I was on. I was on a few of them, but for some reason, Plenty of Fish is what I heard. Well, not for some reason. We know why, because that's where I messaged you, and I and I forgot the part where I was like, please just send me somebody to set me straight, like, because I know what I'm doing wrong, but I always leave that path. Like, I know that I leave that path. I want someone to keep me closer to my faith, someone to keep me straight, someone to keep me right. And that's when I heard that message, Plenty of Fish. And I went on and I actually read her profile again. I just went straight to hers, of course, and I actually digested it and messaged her this huge long thing about how it feels like we would connect and all these things. And I think it must have been like 3 a.m. I got a message back, and I think we talked for 48 hours straight after that.
Yeah, I
I'm
woke
pretty
up,
sure.
Spirit woke me up and told me to
Yeah.
answer. And I picked up my phone and I looked and I was like, this is the guy I swiped.
Yeah.
It's like, but I heard God, like God just pressing on me, and God was like, and literally when I was messaging him, God said, "This is your husband," and I was like, "Oh, well, that had to be error." Because this ain't my husband. Like, no. But I did feel the connection through our heart energy, Dave. Like, literally, as soon as I started talking with Dave, my heart felt a way that it never felt ever before in my life. It felt so connected and so one with Dave from the very beginning, as soon as we started messaging. And he's right. We didn't sleep for 48 hours. We
No, it
literally
was
went to work. We continued our life, but we did not stop talking to each other because it was that intense. And so I said to him, we're meeting, like I need to meet you. And so either this is or it isn't, like literally we need to meet and we need to decide. So I said, let's meet halfway, let's meet at the Rotary Lights. And
yeah.
so Dave, go ahead and tell him what happened at the Rotary Lights.
Oh yeah, this was crazy. And at the time, I forgot to say that I had a guy living with me, that because he needed help at the time. So and the night that I went nuts, he wasn't there. Go figure. So everything was placed in front of me there. But I told him, I'm going to meet this person that I just met online just 2 nights ago or whatever. And he's like, all right, give me your address because that sounds a little shady. But I met you in Sparta, and I actually, when I turned off to go into Sparta, I was driving the wrong way down the highway. I was on the wrong side of the road. I was in such a daze. It was like my car was taking over, and then I got into the rotary lights there. I locked eyes with you as I pulled in, and instantly I was done. Like, I was so screwed that I was like, okay, this is crazy. And it's not crazy looking back on it, because it was my mother pushing us to be together, because she knew that I was not going to be alive much longer if that didn't happen. And
and your
it
mom's
was
on
like,
the other side. Yeah.
right, my mom had finished her life by her own choices in 2011 at the time. So this is what, 8 years later. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
so then we walked through the park and we shared all that. I can't remember when it. Oh yeah, we were in the car, and I was like, you said did somebody used to call you peepers or something like that? And I about fell out of my skin. My hair was standing straight up. It could probably break through my clothes. It was so hard. I was like, sing. And I was like, I don't know if I'm freaked out or if I'm in love. And because it was my mom, because there's not many people that would know that they called me peepers back then. That wasn't a known nickname of mine, besides my mom and maybe my uncles, who are her married in brothers. They're like her brother-in-laws, and because they used to give me crap about it because they're goofy like that, which I love. But yeah, so that happened, and everything just kept escalating from there with the connection between your passed on brother and my passed on mother. It was like they were both working behind the scenes to put us together, which was
Yes.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to run
Yeah,
several
many
times.
times. Many times. And then you had a very close friend that you had for many, many years, and he was channeling through me, which was a very weird experience because I couldn't even have told you what channeling was at the time. I mean, I grew up kind of idolizing psychic mediums, go figure, law of attraction. But personally, from a personal level, I couldn't tell you what it'd be like to channel. I didn't know that. I didn't know the lingo then. And
Hmm.
obviously, I probably had been doing certain kinds of channeling most of my life and didn't know it, but it was weird that like I was saying things that only he and you would have known,
Yes.
and that was one of the days that you were thinking about like, no, we can't go forth with this because this guy is full blown alcoholic. And what was it? You had a 12 and a 14-year-old at the time, so that's understandable.
Hmm.
So like, how are you going to go forth with that? So yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah.
His name was Jacob, and he reassured me over and over and over that you were the one, and so did Spirit. And I had Lisa over there, my brother, and your mom, and everybody's rooting on Dave that this transformation needed to take place. Literally, that it needed to be brought together because I needed this, because God needed me to come out and be this prophet that I was supposed to be. And I needed that person to support me and love me unconditionally. And God knew that Dave was the guy for the job. And he was sure about it. And so was everybody else. But I was not so sure. But as it unraveled, God actually came to us. We were driving and we hit a stoplight. The lights came on and I looked at Dave and I said, "This is going to sound crazy." I said, "But God tells me something's coming, and it's going to change the whole entire world, and we need to move in together within the next 7 days." And Dave looked at me and goes, are you sure?" Like, he's like, I know you're psychic, and we've only been together for just like a month and 2 months, and all the things. And are you sure? And I looked at Dave and I said, God said that the whole world is gonna stop. And Dave's like, I mean, I want to believe you. He's like, but that sounds just a little on the crazy side. And I said, I know, I hear you, Dave, but we need to do this because God's really loud about this, like within the next 7 days. And so we did. We shut down my apartment and we moved, and we I told my kids this is what we were doing. They were super excited because there were dogs involved. And they got their own room. And they had a backyard and he had a hot tub, and so they were super excited. And they had met Dave quite a few times and actually liked Dave. And anybody I had dated previously, they would look at me and be like, "Find a new one, mom. Not it, not it." But it was different with Dave. Like, from the minute they met Dave, they were like their natural, goofy, laughing, fun selves. And they were never like that in front of anybody else. And so that also was one of my true signs that Dave was the guy. And so we moved in together, and 3 days later, they shut down everything, right? Like COVID just shut down, like everything was shut down. And so Spirit was right that the world was going to be stopped. It was like the world stopped spinning that day. And shortly after, I got COVID for 27 days. I ran a fever for 27 days and 27 nights, and almost lost my life. And I was alone in a room because we were secluded, because God had told us that it was safe that way. And so did the nurses and doctors that were calling me on the phone, because I was one of the first in Wisconsin. This isn't something that they were even ready for yet. And so when we went to have me tested, we didn't know what was going to happen. And they like put us through this shed. It was like cattle. We got a number, and people were in white shirts and ventilators, and they made Dave leave me at the door. It was like the most terrifying day of my life. I didn't know if I was coming back, what they were going to do with me. All I kept hearing from God was, "Don't let them put you in the hospital. Don't let them put you in the hospital." And I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "Dave, just so you know, I'm making a run for it if they try to put me in the hospital. And Dave was like, because Dave was like all medical at this time. He's like, are you sure? Maybe you should go into the hospital and maybe you. I'm like, oh, hell to the no. You ain't put me in the hospital. And so we went in, we had the test, and it was positive. And that day, for the next 27 days, we fought for our lives. We fought for our lives, tooth and nail for sure. It became the darkest time of my life where I fought for my life, and I pleaded with God that those 27 days, and I had a lot of conversations with God myself. And he talked to us about coming out and using our abilities, and talking to the world, and leading the world into healing themselves, and to helping people with my gifts that God had given me because I'd hidden them for so long. Dave was the first real person that ever truly believed in everything that we did and didn't doubt us. And so we were able to be our authentic self. And so I said to God that I promised that if I made it through, I got down on my knees and I prayed to God, please give me my life back on that 27th day. That night before I went to bed, I got on my knees and I prayed to God to please give me my life back. And I promised, just let me see my kids, let me live my life, and I'll do what you say. And that next morning I woke up, and my fever was gone.
And but did you do it? Did you do what they said?
Oh no, they told me to stay in
No.
bed, and well, I thought you meant the doctors. The
No,
doctors had
no,
told
no,
me to
no,
stay in
no,
bed and rest, and not to move and to rest, but I didn't. I actually did a lot of
no.
qigong during the time of COVID, and they kept my body
Yeah.
moving and stuff. Oh, he means, did you listen to God, and did you follow through with your promise, and listen to God, and uh
Right. Yeah. Right
go out
before we
public?
got right before we got to Galesville, which is where we decided to start the business and be public, you had a simple tooth procedure and you died on the bed basically
Yeah.
because you were trying at the time you were trying to be an assistant teacher again instead
Mm-hmm.
of already
Be a
using your gifts
substitute.
like
Instead of using my
right.
gifts, yep, I tried to slip back into the system, and I promised God that I would use more of my gifts in the school system, but that wasn't good enough. So
Yeah.
God had to give me a little reminder. I had a reaction
I
to the
was li-
medicine.
I was literally in the parking lot signing the paperwork to our Galesville house because it's the dentist. She was just getting a tooth pulled that was, it had some issues with it, and it's a dentist. It's no big deal. I don't need to be there with her. I got to fill out this paperwork. And the nurse came running to the truck and was like, "You need to come in now. Something's seriously wrong." And I'm like, "What kind of dentist is this? What is happening?" And I walked into the dental office to everybody hovered around you, and I'm like, what is going on? What is this? Like
She's
it was almost like
flatlining.
a memorial. Yeah, it was like a memoriam. And I was like, what is happening? And I went up to you and I was talking to you, and and the longer I talked to you, the more you started coming back around, and then you got better. But holy cow, we were in the ambulance and everything, and then you made them take you back in to get the tooth pulled. But
Yes, because I
then
wasn't
is when
leaving
you
there with a half
decided.
pulled tooth. Are you kidding me? Once I came back to, I was like, you take me back into that dentist.
Yeah, yeah. So then, so then when you got better from that, because you still had issues with the tooth problem and
Yeah,
the
because
meds
then
that
I
they
had
put
an
you on.
abscess, the infection spread. Because I
Yeah,
didn't listen again.
yeah. So then it
We're
was
really
December.
stubborn.
By now we're already in Galesville, so it's December, and we are moved into the house in Galesville, and Amazon sends us a whole bunch of crystals by accident. By accident. You were looking up some crystals for our daughter Julissa. You just wanted to buy a couple crystals for her for Christmas, and it sent us the whole $1,500 worth.
Yes.
And at the time we couldn't afford it. I was literally working doubles, triples, quadruples at the time for us to stay above water. And but everything in me said don't send them back because you were showing me all the stuff in the boxes and like you knew everything. And like I knew you were psychic and I knew that you had mediumship qualities and I knew about everything that you could do in the spiritual realm, but I did not know you had so much knowledge about crystals too. And I was like, holy cow. And I did not realize that crystals could help you heal so much. So I was like, there's something to this. I think you should keep them. And I can change. Even saying that now, it's hard to say because that was a lot of money back then.
You could
So
change, Dave.
yeah, so we kept them, and we decided to start this business. Well,
Well,
and
yeah.
that
Well,
wasn't.
we started at the old Main here in Galesville at a craft
Yep,
fair, a
right here.
little 4 foot table. I took all those crystals and explained them to everybody, and we did our first reading in public there, and Dave was shitting his pants.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. Like, because we had like the boys were helping us set up and stuff, and they just started putting on the jewelry like it was theirs now, and like I was so like, you can't just do that. This is a store. Like this is a shop. You can't just that's stealing. Just because it's your mother, you can't just take a necklace. That's money right there. I was freaking out. And you did palm readings on the side that day, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening? I don't know what is happening. And then you decided to go to a mall right before Christmas too, and you did a full-blown table with palm readings, and I was like, whoa, okay, I guess we're just telling everybody now. And we spent New Year's in Black River Falls, and that's when that whole thing happened. Where the next morning we went to this resale shop called Karma, and the man, I really loved the place, and I was connecting with him, but he was like being like taken over by something because he completely went to you and he goes, "You got a dream, girl? Follow it. If you have a passion, you have something that keeps you going, you follow it." And you were just like, and I'm like, what is going on here? This is just
We
we're
call
just
those earth angels, Dave. That's when spirit
yeah,
actually embodies humans to bring messages from the other side. So those are called earth
yeah,
angels. And so they kind of borrow us for a little bit.
yeah.
Because that
And
guy
so
was borrowed that day.
you walked right out from that conversation and went through what 3 doors down. And I was like, where are you going? I was still looking at the place. Like, what's happening? And you just, I'm a going here. And I'm like,
Yeah, I heard
okay. And
God
you,
was so loud. Walk down the street, walk down the street. So I left Dave and I walked into a place called Reflections on Water. And I walked in and I said to the lady at the front desk, I said, God brought me in here and I don't know why the hell I'm here. What is this place? And she said,
yeah,
well, this is a tanning bed salon. And I was like, a what? And from back, there was this loud voice that said, I was just praying for you. And her name was Laura. And she was the owner of Reflections on Water. And she said that the psychic and massage therapist and card reader that used to be in this back room just left. And she's like, do you do that? And I looked at her and I was like, I do. And she said to me, okay, well, rent is about $200 a month for that room. And I looked at Dave and Dave looked at me and I was like, well, I can't afford that. And she said, I'll tell you what. She said, 20% of your earnings and you start tomorrow. And I said, okay, oh my God, yes. And Dave is over there just quivering and shaking. And I don't know about all this. And
yeah.
so,
That night we went and maxed out a credit card to get all the stuff for your shop. I was like, oh boy,
yeah, a bed and
yeah.
all the candles and beautiful stuff to make it appropriate. Yep. And we paid that card off in 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
The first week. Yep. God supplied everything that we needed as long as we trusted and listened. And that's what this is about, you guys. This is about transformation and how transformation can take place inside of your lives. And that's why it was so important that Dave shared his story. And I'll tell you what, we got a lot more to the story than that. That's just the
Oh yeah,
surface
that
of
was just the
our
surface of it.
story.
Yeah,
That's an appetizer to the buffet of Debbie and Life's story, Debbie and Dave's story. But we want you to know that transformation takes place when you really trust in spirit and trust in God. And that's the example of our life stories and what they mean. And sharing them with all of you is so important so that you can know that your stories are valid and very important too. And you should be sharing your story. This morning, we published our story on our Facebook this morning so that others could feel validated in their story. There was a large response. If you didn't get to read it yet, it's on the Deb and Dave page, and it's also on the Refined Divine page. Dave, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to be right back if you want to give us that break screen.
All the pretty girls walk like this, 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 this. Pretty girls walk like this, 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 this.
Unlock the mysteries of the unseen world with the extraordinary insights of gifted psychic medium, Refined Divine. Featured on television and heard on Ghostbox Radio AM 950, Deb's remarkable ability to communicate with the other side has captivated audiences for years. Since childhood, Deb has channeled profound messages from beyond, guiding us through life's biggest challenges. Now on this show, she'll reveal powerful insights to help us navigate modern society's most pressing questions. Join us and witness the extraordinary talents of one of the most gifted psychic mediums you'll ever experience. The answers await. In a world full of questions, some answers come from beyond. Introducing Debbie Straight of Refined Divine, a gifted psychic medium who channels wisdom from the other side to guide you. Get ready to witness the depth of her extraordinary gift.
Now
Hi,
we're back.
welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. So we are talking about I and Dave's life and the transformation that took place for us to be where we are now. We would like to now look at the comments and see what you all had to say. Dave, go ahead and give us some of the updates here. Put them on the screen because we always love to include our people. Also, please send stars because it does help us get back in the algorithm and help us do these lives and help answer your questions and share I and Dave's talent with the world. Jessica says, thank you. Inspiration. You're welcome, Jessica. Kim says, such a beautiful story. Thank you, Kim. Rachel, so glad I joined for the first time. Thank you both for sharing. You're welcome, Rachel. Thank you for joining us tonight.
I just giggle because how much more to the story there really is.
We've
I don't think we
barely
have enough
scratched the
time.
surface of, of our story. And so as we continue our Tuesdays, we will continue to share our life's journey with you. And I'll tell you what, some of it has to do with saving all of these babies that we save too. We tend to save a lot of animals along this journey, don't we, Dave?
I
Behind
don't know
Dave,
what you're
there is,
talking about.
yeah, right. There's Lily. Lily is actually Lily is actually a reincarnate of Bailey, who was Dave's baby for 12 and a half years. And she came to us rapidly after her passing because she wanted to be back with Dave for sure and us. And so she showed herself very prominently when she came back. That little heart on her head is the same heart that Bailey had on her chest. And so she showed us she made sure that she was very poignant that that was her, and so that we made sure that we got her. Go ahead and show that up there, Dave. We're going to talk about our cruises. So we just launched our Refined Divine Cruise, and it is going to be November 17th until November 22nd, the week before Thanksgiving, guys. Rooms start as cheap as 502 per person if you share a room. That's for 5 nights. Includes your food and your drinks. We leave out of Galveston, Texas, so you don't have to worry about taking that plane. That's why I did that. 17 hours straight down from Wisconsin, where we live. So 1 night stay in between, maybe a 2 night stay in between, take a whole week off work, make it worth your while. Then we're going to Progresso. We're going to see the Maya ruins. And then we're going to go to Cozumel. And then we're going to go to, I don't know, something Rue. And I don't know how to pronounce that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. There's going to be a 2-day spiritual retreat that is going to be during the sea days. So on your sea days, on the way out and on the way back, from 11 to 4, we are going to be doing a spiritual retreat right there on the cruise ship. But you're not going to miss anything because we're doing it during the downtime of the cruise, 11 to 4. So you still can go to the comedy, to the magic shows, to the casino. You can still live your best life and do all the casino things and all of the boat life things that you want to do. So, and we're also going to be doing all the different things throughout the cruise ship. And you guys are on your own. Only those 2 days you're going to be with us for Fine Divine. Um, this Sunday, moving from fear to freedom, is going to be this Sunday from 11 to 4. We're going to be going to Kingstone. It's going to be 42 degrees this Sunday. It is going to feel like a heat wave. May I say that our prayers are answered? We asked for warmer weather, and God usually does answer us. You know, prayer is a powerful thing, guys. I'm telling you what, we can move mountains with prayer if we all just believe, for sure. Um, there still is tickets available to purchase for this Sunday. We do still have space. We have a beautiful retreat center down here in Galesville, Wisconsin. It accommodates up to 70 people sitting. It is a very large space. And then we have a beautiful crystal shop and a healing room center with vibrational bed, ionic foot detoxes, a Zytoscan. We have all the things. We would love to share them with you all this Sunday from 11 to 4. This Saturday, we are going to be in Toma, Wisconsin, right in our own backyard here. I am your main gallery at 11 o'clock, $25 those tickets. You can find those tickets available on my website and on the Rooted Holistic website. I bring messages from the other side, your higher self, your guides, your angels. It's going to be a beautiful time, you guys. We can't wait for this Saturday and for this Sunday. We are going to have quite the experience and fun-filled pack weekend, right, Dave?
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow night, we're going to be on Ghost Box Radio doing free one question live readings. So you can call right into Ghost Box and get right in there. And I will answer your one question readings, past loved ones, health, love, all the things, guys. We will guide you through the answers with Greg Bakken on Ghost Box Radio AM 950. Next Tuesday, we are going to be on KTTC out of Rochester. We are going to be doing a live in-person interview with Jess on KTTC. So we can't wait for that. We love going on television. I mean, why wouldn't we? Right, Dave?
Yeah.
Maybe Dave will be brave enough to go on with me. Dave?
No, no. They.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
I did. Well, I did want to start a Wild Wednesdays on TikTok where I explain some of the crazy stuff that I deal with being on the road with you and side by side with you every day. So I think that's
Yeah.
as far as I'll go.
You guys, what do you
Yeah.
think about that? Let us know in the comments. What do you think about that? Wild Wednesdays. Dave wants to literally videotape some of the wild shit that happens with me when Spirit talks to us out in public and all the things that Dave experiences being with me for these last, well, it's almost been 6 years, Dave. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
It's almost been 6
Yeah.
years.
It's crazy.
Flies
Yeah.
by when you're having fun, right, Dave?
Right.
Dave?
Yeah.
So I think it's a great idea. What do you guys think? I think that he should do Wild Wednesdays on TikTok and talk all about his experiences with Debbie Refined Divine and all of the crazy shit that unfolds and takes
And
place, right, Dave?
and if I'm lucky, maybe I can have the star of the stories be a guest star sometimes. We'll see.
Ooh.
We'll
Be
see if I could fit her
interactive.
into her schedule. She'll come on and help me tell the story.
We are quite busy.
Yeah, a little
I don't
bit.
know if you knew that. I was just like,
Yeah.
Well, you guys, Miranda says yes. She wants to hear the stories. Kenzie says yes. Everybody says
Yes,
yes.
yes, and eat chicken wings.
Wild Wednesdays for sure. Everybody loves this idea, Dave. You definitely got the thumbs up for the Wild Wednesdays. Look at that.
Look at
They're like, yes, yes,
Ashton's going to sign
yes.
up for TikTok. Should give me a little bit of a credit there. I might get somebody to sign up just for it.
Yeah. You guys go ahead and take a look on TikTok. Please follow us. It's Refined Divine. Dave does all the cap cutting and all the video making over there. He does a beautiful job. He does a lot of our retreats and a lot of my galleries and puts them together and makes them just so beautiful. He does such a great job on them. Sometimes we get upset with him about the pictures that he chooses because I might be doing or something weird. He puts
Like
it
picking
on
your
there.
nose or something.
Keeping it real, right, Dave? Keeping it real, he says. Real my ass.
Well, you
I'm like,
know.
delete that damn picture. So please
Yeah.
watch us out for that because it's going to be on TikTok. Dave is going to start that. We got a lot of things happening, you guys. We also have a retreat coming up in May. It is May 15th to the 17th. It is in Door County. We are running that special. If you do register throughout the month, this month, you can get a queen size bed for $500. Now that's a $700 value for $500. You're getting a hell of a deal. So please, please, please reach out if you would love to do that. I do payment plans also, as much or as little as you can afford. We're always working with people. We understand normal job life because I and Dave came from that life, right? And so also, if you'd like to learn how to not live that normal life anymore and get yourself in that mindset, that Fear to Freedom retreat this weekend on Sunday from 11 to 4, we're going to be talking about that. How Debbie went from food stamps, Badger Care, working 3 jobs with 2 kids, single, to the best life she could possibly imagine, 5-bedroom, beautiful house on a lake, living our lives like we never dreamed possible. Dave used to work 70 to 80 hours a week at Quick Trip and now drives around in his bougie truck being Debbie's assistant. And so when you put purpose to passion and passion to purpose, and you really align with who you truly are, that's when life really starts to unfold. And to do that, we must share our stories with each other. We must be truthful. We must honor our truth that's inside of our heart and our soul's passion, you guys. We must align with what is real, real inside of us, real inside of our stories, and share it with people. Both the dark and the light. Merging the two brings us to who you truly are. And God says that's the whole purpose of life, is to live it, repeat it, share it, and move forward. Thanks for joining us tonight, you guys. We love you so much. See you next Tuesday.
Unlock the mysteries of the unseen world with the extraordinary insights of gifted psychic medium, Refined Divine. Featured on television and heard on Ghostbox Radio AM 950, Deb's remarkable ability to communicate with the other side has captivated audiences for years. Since childhood, Deb has channeled profound